All right, so after we've put our data in here from page 117, all right, you guys should have came up with some totals, right? This is 20, and that's 20. Obviously, this is 100% of the data, right? For after-school job. Students that have after-school jobs. And then how many people did not have an after-school job? What was that total? 40. So we have a total of 60 here. And then how many people turned their homework in on time? 33. And how many people had late or missing work? 27. So the first question said, students without after-school jobs are more likely to have late or missing work than students with after-school jobs. What'd you say to this? True or false, and then why? What did you say? So we're looking here, right? Someone said false. Why? Why? Why'd you say false? Katie? If you go to here, right? This was 12 out of how many total? 20, right? So if you divide 12 into 20, you get 0.6, right? And 0.6 is 60%, right? And then over here, if you take 15 divided into 40, well, 15 divided into 40 reduces to 3/8, right? Which is 37.5%. So what they're saying is that these guys are, no, I'm sorry, these guys, students without after-school jobs are more likely to have missing assignments than the ones with do. And that's false because what? Right? 37.5% is less than 60%, right? So the students with an after-school job, 60% of the time had missing assignments. Well, the students without an after-school job had 37.5%. So it's the other way around, right? For this statement to be true, this should said students with after-school, right? So this is false, right? All right, number 2. Students with after-school jobs are more likely to have late or missing work than on-time work. All right, so after-school jobs, top row, more likely to have late or missing work than on time. Well, how much on time? Well, that's 8 out of 20, right? 8 out of 20 was what? 40%, right? So is that statement true? They're more likely to have late or missing work here than on-time work here. Yeah, 60% is more likely than 40%, right? So how many people said true to that? Good. So that's true. Because 60% of the time they were late or missing, and 40% of the time they were on time. So again, 60 is more than 40, so yeah, they are more likely to, more than half the time, have late or missing work. Which is not a good track record, right? No, that's bad. Well, let's fill in the rest of this table really quick. At 25, so this is 25 out of 40. And this should be what? 0.625, I think, right, when you divide it, which is 62.5%. So notice when you add across this way, when you add those percentages together, you should always total 100%, right? So it says students without after-school jobs, okay, no after-school job, are 3 times as likely as students with after-school jobs to have on-time homework. So we're looking at this column right here. Is this true or false? So these guys are 3 times as likely to have on-time homework than these guys. True or false? 3 times as much. Don't be afraid to speak up. Dana, false. Why? Because 8 times 3 is 20. What about the percentages? Yeah, if you got 62.5 and 40%, right? There we go. So, all right, so you said false. False is the right answer, but we got to come up with the right wording, right? If I take 40%, well, 40% being 3 times as many, isn't that 120%? And that's not 120%, isn't it? Okay, this is 62.5%. So it's not 3 times as much. It's not even 2 times as much. Because 2 times as much would be 80%, right? So, I mean, obviously it's somewhere in between. Okay? Because 62%, 62.5% is not 3 times more than 40%. Not even close. How many people wrote something like that for their explanation? Something along those lines. Okay? All right, and then our last one, going back up to the table here so we can see the data. All right, so it says students with after-school jobs are less likely to have on-time homework than students without after-school jobs. So again, we're comparing the column again. Now, so what would you say to that? Students without after-school jobs are less likely to have on-time homework than students without. What would you say to that? Which group answer that one as? True or false? And why? Yeah, if students with after-school jobs are less likely to have on-time homework, yeah, that they had on-time homework 40% of the time, right? If you didn't have a job, you had on-time homework almost 63% of the time, right? That's a big difference, right? So that would be true. And again, because the people with a job after school had on-time homework 40% of the time. And the people without the job had on-time homework 62.5% of the time. So yeah, the people with an after-school job are less likely to have on-time homework because they have less time, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Got to find ways to make time. So interpreting that data, okay, that's what we've been dealing with these two-way tables, okay? So your homework is going to be this. We're going to stop this for a second, though, and pause the video.